welcome to another episode of the I Love Shreveport podcast. I'm your host, Corey Williams, and we are at LSU-Shreveport today talking to some amazing women, Dr. LaToya Hemphill and Miss Leanne Chambers. Good afternoon. How are you all doing on this fabulous day?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Doing well. Thank you. How are you doing, Miss Chambers?
I'm doing peachy keen. Ready to roll.
Listen, we're talking about something very, very special. Before we get into what we're talking about, I just want you all to tell us who you are, what do you do here at LSU?
Okay, as y'all said, I'm Dr. LaToya Hemphill. I'm the Assistant Dean of Students, which encompasses a lot of varying responsibilities related to student affairs specifically, but also conduct. I deal with lots of accommodations and also certifications as it relates to getting the students across the line here at LSUS.
Absolutely. You serve as LSU's principal.
That's pretty much it.
We're not going to the principal's office, right? All right, Ms. Chambers, what's your role here at LSU?
I'm the Executive Director of Events and Community Initiatives. So my primary role is to connect the university with the community and the community with the university. We do that through continuing education, which is lifelong learning initiatives not tied to degrees. We do that through K through 12 programming, so for our youth in the community, and through fun events. So basically, anytime something's fun or silly or exciting, that would be me.
Absolutely. And so there's something fun and exciting coming to LSU on March the 21st. It's going to be an amazing, amazing conference. It's entitled Women in LeadHERship Conference, geared towards women. So the conference emphasizes health, right? It emphasizes empowerment, resiliency. How are these themes, how were they selected, and why were they selected, and why are they particularly relevant for women in leadership today?
So we decided here at LSUS, through our amazing women leaders that we have, to do a conference that focuses on those issues that women leaders focus. Mm-hmm. And when we did that, we decided the three topics that were most important were health, empowerment, and resiliency. One, because we have to take care of our holistic health, our mental health, our physical health, the health of each other as well.
Absolutely.
And we have to be empowered to make the decisions that we need to, and we have to be resilient through conquering those hiccups that occur along the path. Absolutely. The main thing we wanted to do here, and why we called it LeadHERship, is that it's for women of all stages, whether you're a leader or not, because the most important leader is the person who leads themselves. So we want women to feel empowered to make the decisions, to steer their own courses, and navigate their own successes.
Absolutely. And so the target audience is for women, as we know, but how can these attendees, these women, expect to gain, or what can they expect to gain from attending and participating in this amazing conference?
Well, as my colleague has said, it's kind of like a holistic 360 approach to this. So spanning the empowerment, resiliency, and the health, and then also just kind of bringing an awareness to all of those things at the same time.
Absolutely.
Looking at it from a point of those female leaders or women leaders or just leaders in general, either at the beginning of their careers, midpoint, or those that are more experienced in their careers, and just kind of giving an overview of all of those things that some people may take for granted or may not really be fully invested in at this time.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so with this amazing conference, there has to be amazing speakers coming to the conference. Can you share insight on the keynote speakers and their respective topics?
Of course. So because the conference is LeadHERship, we focus on health, empowerment, and resiliency. So we have a keynote speaker on each of those topics. We have Dr. LaToya Mister, and she's going to focus on taking the mystery out of pelvic health, techniques to prevent pelvic floor issues in women in leadership. So she's going to focus on your physical well-being and how that ties to your mental well-being and your success in the career field. Because as we know, if we take care of our bodies, then our souls and minds will follow.
Absolutely.
We have Amy Young, who's going to be speaking about rejection is redirection. Every loss is a gain. And she's our empowerment speaker. Okay. So how are we empowered through difficult times? How do we take the best advantage when something doesn't work out the way that we want? And that happens to all of us at different stages in our lives. And then resiliency is Javon Brumfield. Relentless resiliency. Resiliency, Crafting Your Blueprint for Leadership Success. And I loved that title,
Yes.
Relentless Resiliency.
Absolutely.
We're not going to stop. We're going to keep going, and we are going to be relentless through our own successes.
Absolutely. I was looking at the title LeadHERship. The her is capitalized, and it stands for those topics, right? Health, the H, empowerment, the E, resilience, the R. And so really, really focusing on the total package, right? So with this conference, there is an agenda that includes various breakout sessions. How do these sessions care to the diverse interests and needs of those attending?
Well, in extension, the workshops are an extension of the keynote speakers in all of the areas you just mentioned. And then along with that, it's an extension to be open to all individuals at the end of the day, focusing on those areas, empowerment, resilience, and I forgot the other one.
Health, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And just also giving those that are in attendance the opportunity to learn more in each of those respective areas, and also great opportunities to network with individuals in those areas as well.
Absolutely. And you just kind of pivoted and took us right where we were going in the segue, because in an event like this, in the times that we live in, networking is very, very important. And so in what ways does the conference facilitate networking among participants, and why is this aspect vital for professional growth?
So networking is about expanding your support networks. It's also about making connections across different career fields and different age demographics.
Absolutely.
The most important thing is we'll have people in senior level positions and students, and we will have an opportunity for them to interact throughout the day.
Sure.
It's not a conference where you just come and sit and listen. In fact, we have moments set up for reflection, moments for engagement with the community. We usually highlight a specific nonprofit that's doing work for women, and one of the primary things we do is we write words of encouragement to women who are suffering from homelessness, women who are coming out of the human exploitation, and women who are currently incarcerated. So we're reaching out across all lines, connect women at all walks of life.
Absolutely.
It's super important for our students to be able to see themselves in our leaders in the community.
Absolutely.
For a student to have resilience, they have to see people that they connect with so that they can imagine their pathway to success. But at the same time, when we are women farther along in our career, we have an obligation to give back to people the way people gave to us. And I find that most of the women who attend the event are very interested in being mentors or being mentored. And in fact, I want to be mentored and I want to mentor.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding where you're at and giving and being open to receiving. And that's very important for professional growth and development.
Absolutely. And so with that, the conference is you think women that are in this leadership role, but then there are some young women who are trying to get there. And so what the student engagement, what does this conference aim, or how does it aim to support and inspire the next generation of women leaders?
You touched right on the point with that, the next generation. So it's kind of a reciprocity at the end of the day, both for those, again, that might be, seasoned professionals and just learning some additional skills, but then also taking it back to those that are just starting, where their aspirations either are already firmly set, or some of the students that may just still not really know where they want to be within their respective fields. It can give them kind of like a full platter of things that they may not have had a full understanding of, more emphasis in some other areas, and then also things to aspire to through these connections. And it is open to any and all universities, colleges, anything within the area. They can go online. They can apply through the scholarship application. And again, just giving them the opportunities to network, see some other things that they may not have otherwise had the opportunity to.
Absolutely.
And then learn a little bit more about all of these different areas.
Absolutely. And so we've got women that are in leadership. We've got, we're touching the lives of the students, younger women aspiring to become amazing leaders in the community. Speaking of the community, how will this conference, the Women in LeadHERship Conference, contribute to a broader Shreveport community in the Arklatex and the region at large?
I think that's one of the very exciting things about our second annual conference. We did our first one, and we had a handful of community members serve on the committee, but it was primarily LSUS members. This year, when we formed the committee, I did an open call to everyone in the community, as did many of my colleagues here at LSU-Shreveport. And I would say a little over half of our 40-person committee is from the community.
Wow,
and
amazing.
That is because LSUS, first and foremost, is a resource to the Shreveport-Bossier area and the broader geographic area. And that resource can look a lot of different ways. We are committed to educating and supporting the growth of Shreveport-Bossier, and this conference is part of that. We would be remiss if our conference was planned just by us and didn't include voices from the community. But it did. This is driven by the community. These speakers were chosen by the committee, which represents a larger swath of Shreveport-Bossier's region. And they're talking about issues that we find most important here in Shreveport-Bossier. And we're supporting our students because we hope that they stay here and that they don't flee to places like Texas. Stay away from Texas. No. We want to keep people here in Shreveport-Bossier, and I think that it's vital that we continue to provide these resources and these connection points.
Absolutely. And so that's the community impact. And so talking about the conference itself, it has evolved. This is the second year of the conference. And so we wanted, if you could, can you give us something that is new that maybe you found to do something different that you'll introduce and roll out this year that'll be a little bit better than last year? What's new for this year?
Well, we expanded vendor table opportunities for this year. So it's a blend of women-owned businesses as well as nonprofits that provide services to women in our community. We're well over 20 vendor tables, and I think it's a huge addition because we need to promote and support women-owned businesses, and we need to make sure that we are bringing awareness to the nonprofits in our community that are assisting women at various stages.
Absolutely.
It's about connecting, and I think having that business and nonprofit presence there at the event is a huge portion of that.
Sure, absolutely. And so now here's the fun part, right? We've talked about the Women in LeadHERship Community Conference. And so how can people register for the conference, and what are the registration procedures, and are there any important deadlines to be aware of?
So the conference is open to the general public, so anyone can purchase a ticket, men, women, anyone at all. We had high school students last year as well. Tickets are $79 is our early bird fee, and that expires on March 15th. After that, they go up to $99. As Dr. Hemphill said, we have scholarships for students of any type. That can be here at LSU Shreveport, that could be BIPSI, that could be Southern, that could be Northwest Technical, Northwestern University, Louisiana Tech, anything, any school.
So you're saying there's a scholarship for the conference?
Yes, they can come for free.
Absolutely.
We want students to come 100% for free. We launched a sponsorship campaign to be sure to cover their tuition costs, and we had quite a few people step forward with anonymous donations individually to make sure that we can have these students here at zero cost. Whether you're a general member of the public wanting to purchase a ticket at $79, or if you're a student wanting to apply for a scholarship opportunity, you can visit lsus.edu/Women in LeadHERship Conference. And you can Google it. We're very Googleable.
Absolutely.
So we will take registrations right up to the day, but if you want to get that savings, that $20 savings, because Lord knows I need a $20 savings, it cuts off March 15th for $79, After that, it's $99, but you can also just show up the day of the conference, Friday, March 21st by 9 a.m., and we'll let you on in.
Absolutely. So they can show up at the door
Yes.
and register and sign in as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So again, we're inviting the entire community March the 21st for the Women in LeadHERship Conference right here at LSU Shreveport. Dr. Chambers, anything else you'd like to share with the community?
Yeah, I guess it's just an open call. Events like this are formed based on feedback that we get from the community.
Sure.
And we really, really want to be open. I'm Leanne Chambers. You can find me in the directory. We need to be responsive to the community's needs. And that's what my department focuses on, is we need to hear what the needs are for Shreveport-Bossier, and we need to see if we can fill those needs.
Absolutely. Dr. Hemphill?
Well, I just want to say, and I'm going to post this to Leanne as well, because when I came in, and then last year was the very first inaugural conference, I just went as a general member, and I was just so impressed by the tenets of the conference, what it was focusing on. I ran to her afterwards, like, I want to be in the middle of this. I want to be a part of this in some way. So I'm just excited to have been a little small part of the organization of this year's event. And, you know, I'm on the marketing side, so we got a lot of little goodies for everybody that will be coming this time as well.
Absolutely.
So some other things, again, just kind of like to reinforce everything that they're going to be taking away from the events and the workshops, to really, again, go back and reflect on what the speakers are sharing and other things that they may learn and reflect upon themselves during the day.
Absolutely. Listen, we appreciate you, Dr. Hemphill. Ms. Chambers, thank you so much for sitting down with us, sharing about this amazing, amazing event. Again, it's Friday, March the 21st. If you need help, information about your health, if you need to be empowered, if you need to be encouraged as relates to resiliency, you need to be at this conference, and you don't need to come alone. You need to bring somebody with you. Again, it is the I Love Shreveport podcast, talking about the Women in LeadHERship Community Conference right here at LSU Shreveport. All right, before we sign off, I want to remind you, please don't forget to get connected to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. That's what you got to do. Like and subscribe, City of Shreveport, LA. And then, of course, don't forget to follow on all of our social media platforms. So again, thank you so much for tuning in this edition of the I Love Shreveport podcast.